Right, so we stopped recording for a second, but we'll start part two with putting purpose to trees that would be considered weeds by most and pulled out by most, even in this fairly organic, nature-loving family. Anything that's not planted gets pulled out until I sort of started grafting things. Well, that's not quite true. Things like peaches always got a chance. But why not graft? The natural tree's still there in the roots, so it's the tree still gets to grow, which is what it wants to do. Which is These are more almonds. I'm picking almonds to be a really, really good crop around here. There's a nut tree, a source of oil. Walnuts can take a lot longer. Hazelnuts can take a bit longer too. But almonds you can get fruit in, well, the first year of planting one if you buy one, and if you graft onto one it might take you 2 years. Semi self-seeding zone going on. We've got parsnips here. They're great in this heavy clay, boring down, freeing it up. I think the importance of letting the plants grow to their full size and maximum root zone is something that can really help your garden thrive, which is why we let the lawn grow quite long. Just means that the plants are as strong as they can possibly be, and they'll bring in as much nutrient from the air, carbon and nitrogen, as possible, which is what we want for a garden that we ultimately don't want to have any inputs. It's all just our time in managing it, which is really not very much. It can be as much as we want it. This is a way to get fast. It's a pussy willow tree. It was a stake I think I staked this grape with it, but we have a tree now, so you can, if you want a quick shelter, plant pussy willows or poplar. Look at the fucking, look at the fruit set on this prune. Some of this has got to fall off unless we have heaps of rain. Heaps more rain. Oh, look at that. Should I be thinning this? I'll just let it do its thing. They're all pretty well on there. Bed of carrots. Save your own seed. And you can liberally sow carrots all over the place. Green gauge plum. This was a sucker from a tree, a nursery bought tree. Dig it out, move it around. We've bought a lot of trees here, but probably 70% of the trees on this property, the productive ones, are just ones that have popped up or we've dug up from wherever. So you can make a food forest for no money at all. This is the saffron, which is dying off for the summer. It'll pop up again in autumn. This is the nursery zone gone wild. That's what two. These trees have been left in a little bit long. They're plum trees. Most of them are grafted, but these will all be getting dug up soon, or next winter, and planted out in different places. Very easy to grow hazelnuts. Just chuck some nuts in the ground and, well, winter time, autumn. I always plant a seed at the time that it falls off the tree. So plant apples in autumn and most deciduous trees in autumn. That way they get a chance to go through the winter. These are plums. I think they're green gauges. More hazels. Peaches. Yeah, we're definitely allowing a lot of photosynthesis to happen on all sorts of layers. Okay, see if we can sneak through here. Yeah, flowering. We've had lots of flowers straight out of the bud graft. These are all apples and plums, all grafted in the same way. Bud graft at about waist to chest height, so that we'll find the seedling variety when it decides to fruit in however many years, but we'll get some fruit in the meantime as well, which will also slow it down, because seedlings are very tough and vigorous. They'll grow to a full size 4 to 6 meter high tree, whereas your weak dwarf apple trees mostly die in this heavy clay soil. So this is it's quite incredible. This is looks like a nectarine, 2 years old from seed. It's like you probably wait that long with a bought tree to get fruit. Grow seeds, everyone. It's wonderful. Grow some bread as well. It's really easy. This will probably make, I don't know, 10 loaves. It took 10 minutes to sow, probably. Just scattered. The pollen's coming off. And there's beans in there as well. Habitat for all sorts of insects. And of course the main reason I grow this is so I get a constant supply of straw without having to buy it. Or it can be added to the compost to thin out the grass, which we also have a lot of from our lawns. And yeah, let your lawn grow long. Trap that moisture in there. Let those roots go deep. That's our hill up there. Totally bare, barren. I wish I could plant trees all over it. Or I wish I could get rid of the sheep that continuously eat any tree that tries to grow there. It's actually almost green at the moment, which is because we've had a lot of rain. 2 weeks of rain, and it'll be 2 weeks without rain, and it'll be totally brown and nothing will grow except for little spiny spiky plants up in the rocks and crags. Or down there's a wild forest of Tagasasti, perfect for planting avocados or whatever into. It's sunny and frost free up there. I don't know why people aren't growing fruit trees around the city here in Christchurch. There's quite a few avocado trees around the hills. We're down the bottom of the valley, so we get a river of frosty air in winter pouring off the hills, but up on the low hillsides it's perfect for citrus and macadamias. Maybe not macadamias, it is a bit dry. Alright, lovely elderflowers. Elderberry jam is so good. The swimming pool. More almonds. A little orange sort of planted under the shelter of some other trees. Is it an orange? A grapefruit. This is a boysenberry, and we've also got over here we have Logan berries, which are so good. Yeah, first roses popping out. More a little lemonade planted again under the shelter as a bit of frost protection. It won't grow so fast. Its fruit probably won't be as ripe as in the sun, but it means we don't have to protect it at all. Wow, spending a bit of time doing this. Here's how you plant walnut trees, just bung them in the ground and look at that lushness. That is so good. I've dug most of them out of here, but I've left a few to grow on in this area. It's again just sowing a mix of annuals and long-term, medium-term crops in one area, I believe, is the way to go. This area is, I'm taking this video because I want to capture the natural look, because today we're going to start hacking into this so that we can plant our corn and pumpkins and summer crops. So, but until then we let the weeds and whatever remaining vegetables are in there grow up really high. Plants on every wall. These are just like a chop and drop pussy willow mulch plant. We got potatoes, Jerusalem artichokes, great for carbon capture. More rye. It was pretty patchy, but there's potatoes growing underneath, so it's alright. More potatoes. The potatoes, we got quite a few late frosts this year. Finally got our hands on a persimmon tree. A little seedling. And yeah, these are actually garden beds with where we dug. It's pretty hard to see. We mounded up beds and trenches, and filled the trenches with wood and wood chips and all sorts of things like that, because this area was just a mud puddle in winter, and in summer it was cracked clay. Nothing really liked to grow in it, but by doing that we can get 5 meters of growth in I think 3 years. This is a damson I've wrapped around the branches to slow it down a bit. I think it's a damson. I actually hoped that I'd grafted this one to something else. Strawberries, fennel, a cat, olive, avocado sprouting off. This is the runner bean zone, a lime tree. What is this one? Merton russet apple tree. First time it's set fruit. Olive and elderberry. A row of peaches and peach cots and almonds. It's everywhere. A potato bed. I try and if I have a plant like this orange tree in here that needs a little boost, I bring in a lot of compost and plant an annual crop around it, just as a way of justifying feeding a tree compost, which is not really something you want to do, but it's something good to do in the beginning. Get the trees off to a good start, and then you don't have to tend to them as much. This is a garlic cash crop with olives and figs and all sorts of peach cots and heaps of garlic. Maybe a few thousand bulbs. Most of it I'll try and sell and or share around the family, friends. First time figs on this tree. And we have some cabbages in here. The little Siberian pea shrub, edible pea shrub, has started to grow finally. And we have a volunteer birch tree and heaps more olive blossoms, flowers, whatever you call it. Greenhouse zone. Looking a bit sorry, it gets a bit hot and dry in here, which is why we're going to get all these tomatoes and peppers out today. And we've got little Casamaroa sapote, white sapote trees, and we've just got shallots planted in the pots, the bags, as while we waited for them to come up. We'll harvest those and give them a bit of space. They don't mind a bit of plant company. Getting those early tomatoes. We've just got one tomato plant in here, and then we've got a Misiluki banana that I'm trying to get a bit bigger so we might actually plant it in here and try and get some suckers off it before I risk planting it outside. Got some trifoliata rootstock from seed growing here, and bits and pieces. We had hard frosts and the avocados growing even in the greenhouse. These are reed seedlings, they got frosted. But it was also very dry before that. Just a peep into the chicken yard. Oh, cider apple has never been very healthy. It's Kingston Black, but it's finally growing. More black currant cuttings. Maybe the chickens can eat some black currants. Here are the chickens. Hello. Are you molting? Yeah, they're very good at turning anything I put in here into compost, and it means that whenever I come in and dig up some compost, they'll always have a good scratch around, but I've done it too recently. But yeah, they get a lot of goodies. Or I just dump the scraps in here. Big pussy willow tree, macrocarpa tree. It's getting shaded out by the deciduous trees. Yep, peaches everywhere. Windmill palm. Trying to provide some shelter for this avocado tree seedling, husk seedling, but not enough. But the more pear grass are growing well, and we've almost done the loop. This is actually the first time I've filmed a video of the garden, or of anything much, so that's why it's probably really wobbly, and hopefully it will still be of interest. It's as much for me as a sort of document of where things were at this certain time. This is a bacon avocado, looking good. I forget the names. This oak tree is really wonderful. Oaks seem to love this heavy clay. We get seedlings all over the place, and I've always struggled to grow chestnuts, so I've tried grafting chestnuts onto oaks, and they appear to be taking. We'll see whether they're compatible in the long run, but they are sprouting, which is a good sign. 1 out of 5 has died, which is reasonable. Hacked back the Nio tree to let in a bit of light. Nios are a great one for chopping and dropping. They just grow. I think they're a nitrogen, might have some nitrogen fixing capacity, because they just grow where there's nothing, or where nothing else will. Yeah, that's about the tour. But just one more almond, one more little tour through the meadow, and now we get to a nectarine, a 3-year-old nectarine seedling. Loaded, probably too much for it, a bit of leaf kill. Alright, that brings us round to the start. Yeah, I'm gonna start taking these videos every year at least, at the same time in spring, just to see how everything's growing, and yeah, hope it's informative to anyone else, and encouraging to just play with plants, because they're very keen to play. Okay.